I'm Brian Custer alongside Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie, interesting fight because we'll start with Nonito Donaire. It's interesting because Donaire, former 4-division world champion, and you know, he is a guy at one point went 12 years without a loss before he suffered his first defeat. But he went, and when he was a world champion at 122, all of a sudden went up to 126, suffered the loss and said, hey, I can't compete there. These guys are punched too heavy. Tried to go back down to 122, and then all of a sudden said, oh, I can't make weight anymore at 122, so he had to settle at featherweight. So I guess the question is, are his best days behind him, and is he stretching himself too thin competing at 126?
Well, that's the thing. You know, when you get older, your metabolism starts to not cooperate with you. And it's not because you're still growing, it's just your weight does not come down anymore. But you're not the natural size of these other guys, you know? So Donaire's best weights are probably 122, even 118. You know, he was strong, he was long, he was powerful, you know, he was fast. At 26, you started to see problems he had with Nicholas Walters, where Nonito's power started to not affect the big, strong featherweight coming forward. They couldn't keep him off him, you know? So, but then you wind up in a situation where you can't make the weight anymore. Again, for lack of a better example, I use my own example. At super lightweight, felt more physically strong. I could deal with it. At welterweight, I didn't want to go up to welterweight. I had to go up to welterweight. I had no choice. And although I was able to win a welterweight title, it became very, very difficult to deal with the physicality of these guys. Then at the end of my career, I could barely make welterweight. And I said, you know what, it's time to go. At this point, it's time to go. Because I know I'm not big enough to compete at junior middleweight. So you're not actually growing, but your metabolism stops cooperating with you. So Donaire's best weight is probably not at featherweight. Donaire's best weight is probably at junior feather or even bantam. But of course, with the age, you know, you're in your mid-30s, it's harder to make that weight. And if you kill yourself to make the weight, you kill your ability to recover by the time you get to the fight from that weigh-in. Is Frampton a real featherweight himself? You know, he's come up in weight too. So I don't know if we should put too much stock into all that. Let's not forget Donaire did start at an even lighter weight. But Frampton is also not a natural feather himself.
So, Nonito Donaire at 35 taking on Carl Frampton, the Jackal. He's 31, still considered one of the best featherweights in the world, but didn't look good in his last fight when he took on Horacio Garcia. What about Carl Frampton at 31 at featherweight right now?
You know, you have to think there's a lot left in the tank for Frampton, you know, and he was a good fighter on a European level, and even obviously at a world level. He's able to get a big win over Leo Santa Cruz, which is probably the big win of his career. He beat Scott Quigg too, you know. Quigg, that's a good win on his record because Quigg continues to compete at a high level, and if he becomes a jump short. Frampton, I think, still is looking to have that legacy-building win. You know, I wouldn't say the Santa Cruz win got erased, but it started to look a lot less shiny when you saw the way Santa Cruz was able to handle him in the rematch with just a simple jab, you know? So I think, you know, Frampton, I wouldn't say he has a lot left to prove, but he's still trying to prove exactly where he belongs in not only in the featherweight division, but in terms of the boxing conversation in general, in terms of today's top fighters. And I think this fight goes a long way towards helping us understand that and also helping everyone else understand that.
Stylistically, how do you see this fight playing out? Donaire and Frampton, because Donaire, even at the lower weight, was an aggressive type of fighter, whereas Frampton is kind of like a counterpuncher guy, kind of stayed on the outside. How do you see the stylistic?
I think Frampton has to be a little bit more aggressive than just be a counterpuncher guy. I think Frampton obviously comes to box, but I've always looked at him more as a boxer-puncher. You know, he's not just kind of guy who's just going to sit back and counter you like that. And obviously, we saw that in the Santa Cruz fight. I mean, Santa Cruz box circles around him in that rematch. So I think Frampton has boxing ability, but he also, part of what makes him good is, you know, that little bit of aggression, having that boxer-puncher mentality. Because you're not, I don't care where we're at here, even if Donaire at 35 years old, if you sit there just trying to box with Donaire, you're going to lose this fight as well. So I think it's important for Frampton to show a little bit of aggression, intelligent aggression at that. Donaire's power at featherweight hasn't shown the same way it was at the lower weight classes. He had super explosive power at the lower weight classes. That's not to say he's not going to be able to get Frampton's attention if he lands punches, but you would expect Donaire to probably not be the puncher in this fight, you know? I do expect Frampton to have success, though. He's going to have to show some aggression.
It would be an interesting fight, especially stylistically. And then the winner, all of a sudden, really immerses himself in this featherweight division. It's a division that is deep. It is a division that is talented. And you look at the number of big names in this division. You'll see on Showtime Championship Boxing in June, the rematch between Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz. In May, you're going to see Gary Russell Jr., the WBC featherweight champion. And then, by the way, you're going to see Warrington and Selby fight as well. Where do you see the winner of Frampton Donaire? Do you see them in a big fight against one of those belt world?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the top featherweights in the world are fighting each other. That's what we want, right? I mean, it's what we wanted at heavyweight. It's what we wanted at super middleweight and middleweight and welterweight and whatnot. It's what everybody wants. They want the best fighting the best. Well, I think at featherweight you have a lot of the best. It's a weight class that's chock full of the best kind of fighters in the world. And so, you know, these next few months, a lot of the smoke is going to clear as far as who's going to knock each other off. And please, people at home, don't just write off somebody who loses any of these fights, because the reason these fights are great is because all these guys involved in them are great fighters. But somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. You know, so I think you can still mix and match the winners and losers, the losers with the losers, the winners with the winners and whatnot, and still make some fun fights once you interchange all these matchups. I think they're going to be fun. I think they're going to be exciting to watch, and I think you're going to be able to continue to mix and match these guys against one another in the second half of the year as well.
Yeah, that's going to be great, because not only do you see Donaire and Frampton, but then Jojo Diaz and Gary Russell Jr. in May. And of course, we've already talked about Abner Mars and Leo Santa Cruz. Boy, that featherweight division is going to be very exciting in the next few months.
Who would be having a word with him? Do more. Absolutely one-way traffic so far. Going back a few years, you know, Richie Davis, Roy Francis, before then Harry Gibb. I think they'd have been saying, come on, you got the paying public here, get out there and have a fight, because if you don't want to fight, I'll stop it, and that'll be the end of that.
Yeah. And it's going to get to that point, isn't it? Because, you know, he's not doing anything to even try. Listen, and it's easier said than done. Oh yeah, just walk forward and make an effort then. You know, but he's not stupid. He's not going to walk into the punches and get knocked out. But he is a fighter, so he has, at some point, you go into the ring, you know, he knew what he was going into, the disadvantages he had against Tete, and you presume their training camp was based all around trying to negate that.
Having to work with the iron while we're away on that advertising break in the Narvaez corner, on the swelling around the right eye, and there's a little nick there as well, and a little bit of damage around the nose as well, and he's taken a few on his nose over the years, judging by its appearance.
Good body shot there from Tete. What Tete does so well though is you even look like you're going to come forward, and because he got such a wide stance, he just skips back half a step, and that's enough just to take you right out of the game. Takes you right out of it. You've got to start your whole process of trying to come forward again. You're too far away because he's so big. So you've got to fasten your feet up. You've got to make quicker steps to go forward.
Narvaez had a little protest to the referee. I don't know if it was because Tete had perhaps trodden on his lead foot at one stage. I don't know. But it's never a good when you see a fighter starting to moan to the ref, particularly at a stage as early as this.
And he tried to throw then. He just threw a 1-2 there. Narvaez, but Tete just twisting the head, making him miss quite comfortable.
Trying to bring that right uppercut that you're talking about there, yeah. Barry, but whistled through thin air that time, trying to follow on from the right hook to the body.
I said his left uppercut is his money punch, but he can't get it happens is
the opening's not there, is it?
well, Narvaez is a southpaw, so it's the wrong side of the body. It's not squared up for it. Tete can push him back now. There you go. I think he's seen there's nothing coming back. He's got full control of the range, the distance, the timing's all there. I think he can start pushing him back himself. Otherwise, he's going to start getting a bit of blame for not making this competitive or not putting the screws on Narvaez.
So, last few seconds of this 5th round. Just a question of when and if Tete can unravel him, find a way in and start landing some power shots, but he's winning this fight with contemptuous ease.
But it's getting too easy though now, so he needs to start going through the gears a little bit now. There's Tete. That putting a bit more pressure on Narvaez now, and starts showing why we like to watch him and selling himself. That's the important for Tete. He doesn't have a fan base. He's not from here. He needs to sell himself by his performances. So he needs to put pressure on. The pressure's on him to perform, not on Narvaez.
Otherwise, very
totally relaxed. Professional career now, Tete's goes all the way back to 2006. Narvaez, I just want to see him show a bit more ambition, just give it a go. If not, well, there'll come a point before too long where the referee will be, I know it's a world title fight, but he'll start to think and be starting to suggest that if you don't put a bit more effort in and actually land a few more punches, then this fight, there's not a lot of points it continuing.
No, the only positive thing is no one can complain about my scorecard, which is nice for me, John, of course.
Yeah, you got this one spot on.
I guess I get paid.
Well, the crowd was ready to celebrate the brilliance of Tete, but he's not being given an awful lot of opportunity to actually produce the brilliance with which he's associated, because if you've got a guy in front of you who just doesn't want to fight, it's very difficult to make it look anything.
Well, and I'm not calling Narvaez a journeyman, but obviously he's not. He's a fantastic fighter. He has been a fantastic fighter throughout his career. But it's this sort of same scenario when you've got prospects boxing journeymen who don't make it. You don't try and win, and they just go through the motions for 6 rounds, and then you don't see the full range of the prospect's abilities, and you're sort of seeing that a little bit now at the higher level with Tete. But listen, it's Tete's job to force himself on Narvaez now.
Is he going to be able to do it? There's a couple of solid body shots, trying to bring the gloves down.
Yeah, he's just up the pace a little bit now, Tete.
Work. It's a nice hook to the body.
One part of me thinks, well, you can't criticise Tete because he's winning with ease, so why should he just keep doing that? And then another part is sort of saying, well, if you want to sell yourself and get everyone excited about you fighting the British fighters who are champions at the minute, then go out there and just stamp your authority on this fella and show why we all love to watch you.
Well, at last, Narvaez comes forward and tries to land a couple of punches.
And did you? Some cuffing right hands.
Not convinced that anything legitimate landed.
Got away with using the elbow there. Tete, little forearm to push Narvaez back.
The pattern remains the same.
Yeah, but there's a little bit more pressure from Tete. So there's a little bit more weight, a little more purchase on the punches. Good shot.
Halfway stage approaching. And yet another round now for Zolani Tete. 6 rounds completed, 6 rounds won. Tete looking to up the pace in that last round?
Yeah, he did. No, he did. I think he was more proactive in that round. He was trying to push Narvaez back and work in the body quite well, trying to lower those elbows, you know, get some, so you can get some clear shots to the chin. But I think Narvaez is so short and stocky that those gloves, he's so small, those gloves cover half his body, so, you know, he's a hard target to penetrate.
It's an easy night's work for Zolani Tete to this point. He could exert almost as much energy going to get his morning paper.
But he's winning everything, so in
very easily.
Yeah, but so you almost say, you know, listen, if I was in the corner, I'd be saying safety first. You're winning everything, and just carry on doing what you're doing. Let this guy, let this guy try and force the fight. But, you know, 6th round down, and Narvaez's corner must surely know he's lost everything. And then they got to be telling him, listen, you either got to go for it now, or this is it. This is the fight for you.
Well, if he thinks that Tete is going to run out of steam, then think again. It's a little bit like saying that Mo Farah's going to fold when he's got you know, sort of 23 laps of a 10,000 metres still remaining. It's not going to happen.
It is, but and more importantly, and I've said this earlier tonight, that when you box at your pace, it's easy. It's when you're forced to fight at someone else's pace, that's when you start to struggle. Look at Tete never tenses. It's all, everything's smooth with his punches. He turns from the waist. He did nothing. Everything's effortless.
Zolani will have had more demanding sparring sessions.
Well, you'd think so. I sort of sympathise a little bit with Narvaez, because how do you? Because you know, if I jump on him now, I'm walking onto that uppercut. If I rush too quick, he takes a step back and he's setting me up for something. What do I do?
Well, I don't know if it's me who's being hypercritical, but I think if this fight were in the United States and Omar Narvaez produced a performance like this, there'd be jeers, boos and catcalls galore.
Yeah, there would, most definitely, there really would.
The Belfast public is extremely forgiving.
Just show a little bit of Tete then. He didn't really do anything, but just if you watch the feet, he sort of stutter steps, just seeing if you're going to do anything before he throws the jab. He's brilliant, really clever with his feet, he is. Without being a dancer, he's just really clever the way he positions his feet. You know, feints with his feet, really good. Got that wide stance as well, so he's always loaded up. That back leg's always bent, ready to explode with a powerful shot, especially with that left hand. Just adds to the balance, John. You know, he looks everything with a fantastic fighter.
He is outstanding, but unfortunately Narvaez is not putting him under any sort of pressure to allow him to showcase those skills. Another round for Tete, another very easy round, 7 out of 7. Building up, of course, to a world title fight, Carl Frampton against Nonito Donaire. And I suspect that there might be a few more fireworks than in the fight that we're watching at the moment. The crowd watching this on the big screen and enjoying seeing their hero there with trainer Jamie Moore.
It's going to be electric. When he walks into the ring tonight, it's going to be absolutely electric. They all know this is a real test for Carl Frampton.
Well, I've said it before, and the whole city's been absolutely buzzing about this match for weeks and weeks, ever since it was announced back in January. Carl Frampton against Nonito Donaire. I remember coming over and there was snow on the ground, and I don't think Nonito could believe quite how cold it was.
Well, you've been out there for weeks, haven't you, John?
days.
The thing with Frampton, he's not just a good fighter. He's an exciting fighter.
Yeah.
So, you know, and he's technically good, but he's exciting as well. So, wherever he was from, he would be a fan favourite. The fact that he's from a really knowledgeable boxing city just helps with that.
Tete trying to step into range and target the midsection of Narvaez.
He's trying that jumping in right hook that he won his first, the last fight with John in record time.
Yeah. That was extraordinary, wasn't it? Sibonisi Gonya, written into the record books perhaps for all time.
Oh, there's the uppercut for the first time with the left hand, and Narvaez felt that. But it was a great bit of comedy because Richie Woodall's saying how good Tete was, and then he threw that right hook. There you go. Again, you can see Narvaez, he's trying to mount an attack. You can see it. I don't think he's trying to be too... But the footwork is the feet of Tete. Takes little steps back. Just little steps, that's all. Because he got such a wide stance. He moves that back leg first, slides the front leg back a little bit. You're out of range, but he's still in range. You try and overcommit, and he's gonna punish you. So he thought you'd attack as you're thinking about it before you even start.
Well, at least attempting to throw a punch or two in this 8th round. It's taken him a long time to do so. I don't think anything meaningful's landed. Boxing can be a sport rich in drama, but it takes two to tango.
Yeah, it really does.
Another very, very one-sided round. The pattern remains the same. The sound men trying to raise the atmosphere. Hot, it certainly isn't.
Look at Narvaez, he looks like he's barely broken a sweat, and that's disappointing.
Everyday man's on the block.
This man's exactly the same. Look like he hasn't broken a sweat.
That girl was an uckus. When the team went quack, 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 you know what done, man. Old time Aston, my brother. He's got a pumpkin.
If you're just joining us here on BT, welcome. Zolani Tete in the world title fight is heading towards a crushing victory. Omar Narvaez has done precious little. Our main event still remains to follow this. Carl Frampton against a future Hall of Famer, a world champion many, many times. One of the great names of the sport, Nonito Donaire. Carl Frampton looking to produce a victory to set up his dream fight later in the summer against, well, that remains to be seen. Could be Josh Warrington, could be Lee Selby. Selby the favourite to win that one, a fight that we're going to be bringing you on BT Sport on May the 19th from Elland Road, the IBF Featherweight Championship. Carl Frampton and Donaire tonight fighting for the interim WBO version of the title.
See, and I'm not a lover of all these interims and stuff like that, but this is a genuine case where it should be allowed. With Valdez, Oscar Valdez with a broken jaw, and he can't fight for a while. He keeps the title busy, and then the winner will have to face him if he continues his career, and that's fair, and that would be fair enough. Valdez,
who came through the victory in that grueling fight against Scott Quigg a few weeks ago.
Good hard fight.
Tough fight that was, wasn't it?
That featherweight division is so difficult. So difficult, it really is.
Here's Santa Cruz still prospering on the other side of the Atlantic. I wonder if we're ever going to see the third fight.
But he's got Abner Mares, who's got, I think, a regular title for the WBA, and he's got the super title, whatever that means. So they're boxing for the WBA title soon, and that's a return. That's another hard fight. One you'd think Santa Cruz would come through at this bigger weight.
Split decision first time, wasn't it? Well, it's fair to say that the crowd are not exactly enthralled by this fight.
Every round's been the same, that's why. So you can understand it gets a little bit monotonous, and that's fair enough. Straight punches now for Tete. He doesn't need to take that step. It's nice long.
Is he being overly respectful?
I think a little bit too much now. You know, but he's winning everything, and he'll just be thinking, I'm winning this, don't take any silly risks, and that's totally understandable. But again, I said earlier, if you want to try and sell yourself.
Well, he was an unbackable favourite before this fight began, Zolani Tete. I think it was something like 33-1 on, and we're seeing why. Here's Nonito Donaire, working on the pads. Great fighter. Has he got one great fight left in him?
I think he might have. But he'll need it tonight. He will.
So the action, such as it is, continues. 10th round of this 12-rounder. Tete on his way to a very easy bantamweight world title defense. Needless to say, Barry has this every single round so far for Zolani Tete.
I'm going to give this round to Narvaez and see people go mad.
Spark a bit of a few observations from the Twitterati.
That's what he needs. No, Tete, just double up that jab and make him hard and strong. Step behind it. He'll push Narvaez back.
Trying to find that opening again for the big left hand. Narvaez just doesn't want to know, though, does he? He won't commit himself.
No, he does want to know, but I think no. At this point, no, Tete. No, he needs to start putting his punches together a little bit more fluently. Threes and fours, and all straight, so he doesn't get close to the target to allow Narvaez a chance to respond. He's too far away, and all the power's on the end of the shots as well, so he's going to feel every shot. Because it's looked like a sparring session tonight. It's been that easy for Tete.
The crowd raising the noise levels. And it's not for either of these two fighters, it's for what's coming up.
No, it is.
Frampton against Donaire.
It's not, it's for this, they're loving it. Well, they know it's near, don't they? They know that the fight, you know, that can't fail to excite. There's only a few rounds away. Again, see that all the feints with the front foot there from Tete. Let's hope Tete thinks this is for him and maybe inspires him to really put his foot on the pedal now. Just try and close the show in a bit of impressive fashion.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath because I think we're going to have 2 more rounds of the same. I wonder if Tete himself might be a little bit disappointed that he's not been able to showcase his skills a bit more readily.
It's a controlled and measured display from Tete, but maybe a little bit too controlled, a little bit too measured. I think nothing's coming back. I think he could afford to take a few risks, and that's sometimes to feel a good fighter and a potentially great fighter is knowing when to take those risks. Like we've seen so many great fighters in the past do. They're good, they dominate, but they know when to put their foot on the pedal and dominate and get that stoppage. And you know, some of us, I could never do things like that, but he's technically good enough. He just needs that little bit of a rocket up him to get the job done now.
Only 2 rounds left. We're into the 11th.
But John, a world title and winning every, let's presume it stays the same as it is. A world title and winning every round is a fantastic result for any fighter. Let's be honest.
Absolutely, but it's a, it's a poor challenge by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I think Narvaez
by any description.
Narvaez has been very poor, and Tete, I think, has been too controlled.
Way too good for him.
Yeah, but he's been too controlled as well. I think he could have pushed it a little bit. To be critical of a guy who's winning everything, but I think he could have taken a few more risks, and I don't even think they were risks, to be honest. I'm only saying that because that's the standards that we hold him at. I think he's a fantastic fighter who can do so much.
Well, a lot of people were hoping that we'd see more of the fireworks that he produced in his last fight when he got that rapid-fire knockout win.
Well, he's in a different
league, isn't he?
But he's in a different level of opposition here, isn't he? You know, he's in a guy who's experienced, who knows how to compete at the highest level.
Well, he knows how to survive. That's certainly true.
He obviously knows how to survive. And maybe at 42, that ambition is maybe not quite as strong as it was a few years back.
Referee Steve Gray's not had a lot to do either, has he?
I think he was there, actually.
Yeah, 3 judges watching, they're still awake. Oh, there's tried to throw a couple there, missed by a little way.
It's crazy because we're criticising Tete, and most fighters would love to dominate a 6th rounder the way he has, let alone a world title fight. But yet, because he is so good, you have to say that he could do better. But the blame lies with Narvaez, for me.
Tried to bring that left hook in, left uppercut in again there, Tete, but it was blocked by the forearms of Narvaez, as it has been on so many occasions. Well, that's a poor round of boxing. Tete doing enough. Narvaez frustrated, and his inadequate world title challenge continues.
Yeah, it's a shame really, because you expected this fight to be, it was not like Frampton Donaire, so you expect this fight to be a little bit more exciting. You expect this fella here, he's been such a good campaigner at the lower weights that he would commit and make Tete show his quality, but he hasn't, and it's been an easy night for Tete. Too easy.
11 out of 11 for Barry. 1 round left. 120, 108 beckons.
Crazy.
Well, traditionally now, the two fighters will be drawn together for the touch of gloves. Tete's first there. There's Narvaez. And we're off for the last 3 minutes. When it comes to analysing this, there's not an awful lot to analyse, certainly not from Narvaez.
No, it's been an exhibition, hasn't it, really, for Tete. It's just been a glorified sparring session that he's been well paid for. The two.
Yeah, he's certainly being well paid for it, don't worry about that.
Well,
he's one of the most avoided men in boxing because he's so good, and he's won every round here with just so much ease. It's not true.
Yeah, it's been too easy, and I think that's why Narvaez takes all the blame, but I think Tete could have done a little bit more because it's been so easy. You sort of want Narvaez to make a real push now in the last round, but at the same time I'd be more frustrated with him that he actually added him in to do it.
Well, before anybody starts lining up to criticise the promotion organisers, this was the defence for Tete, the WBO champion, mandated by the governing body. He had to take this fight at some stage.
Yeah, even if it wasn't, he was always going to win this fight. Let's be honest, Tete. Oh, nice little right hand there from Narvaez. But the first one he landed with, maybe. And he was always going to win this, but it should have been a better fight. Narvaez, on paper, it was a decent fight to watch, we thought. So all you can do is make the matches that should be good, and it's up to the fighters and styles to gel to make that, And it's like that for every promoter and every fight. You try and make the matches that sound like they're gonna be good fights, and you hope that it stays true.
Vastly experienced Narvaez, but that experience hasn't found him a way to roll in and get in behind that long southpaw lead of Tete. At no stage has he put the South African under any sort of pressure.
No, all his experience has done is made him survive, like you said earlier, and he's been able to ride a few punches by dipping to the left. So when Tete's thrown that double jab left hand, he's been able to just take the sting out of it, just to survive. That's all, really.
I can 100% guarantee that Carl Frampton against Nonito Donaire is going to be a little bit different to this. Last few seconds, and Zolani Tete has won just about every minute of the 12 rounds, just about every second of the 12 rounds, and unquestionably he is still the champion, and the crowd a little bit underwhelmed, to put it mildly.
It was too easy. The fight didn't work, and Narvaez takes most of the blame for that because he just wasn't competitive, didn't really try to win a round, to be honest, and that's disappointing. And it's easier to say this on this side of the ropes. You're going to take good shots, but you know he's going to walk into shots. But at a certain point, you're in a fight for a world title, which should mean everything, and you should commit at some point, and he never.
Barry, here's just a relevant question before we get the verdict. Should Steve Gray have done more? Should he have stopped it and said to him at some point, you should be fighting here for a world title, and if not, I'm going to stop the fight.
Maybe he should have said, you know, make a fight of it, but I don't know where the rules lie about what a guy. You know, there was no one was breaking any infringement of rules.
No, but
I don't know how that works. So
it's not necessarily a criticism of Steve Gray. It's really just, you know, to save the public from further suffering.
Of course, but maybe his job is not to make a fight exciting. The referee. That's the boxer's job and the promoter's job, to make the matches make it exciting, and the fighters to produce the work. The referee's job is to make sure they're doing what they should do. But obviously, if one guy's not throwing any punches back, then maybe you could say, listen, make a fight of it. But also, I think, and I give a little bit of criticism to Tete, because he's so brilliant that he could have upped the pace a little bit. But it all lies with Narvaez, who was very, very negative and looked like he just come to earn a few quid, which is disappointing because he's been a tremendous champion, and he just didn't fancy it tonight because he knew that he couldn't make a dent against Tete.
Well, the belt is now being carried into the ring by the WBO officials. British Boxing Board of Control supervisor in there as well. Thomas Schreiber has the relevant piece of paper in his hand. Normally this is an anxious moment as we wait for the scorecards to be read out. Let's just quickly get there now and hear the inevitable.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all three judges, Lynn Carter, Patrick Morley, and Phil Edwards, are in agreement. They score it the same, 120 to 108, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And still, WBO Bantamweight Champion of the World, Zolani Lastborn Tete.
He's still the champion. Narvaez's challenge, though, was, in all honesty, pretty poor.
participants. First, from the Philippines, the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire.
Growing up, playing, breathing every day in Carl right now. We know that when it really comes down to it, we're willing to give everything that we've got, and we're willing to hurt each other. And I think that it's going to be a firework going into it. I think it's going to be an amazing fight.
Here he comes, Nonito Donaire. And to say he's getting a slightly mixed reception would be an understatement. He's got a lot of affection since he's been over here, and he's shown a lot of affection for Ireland. But now he steps very much, so far as Frampton's concerned, into the lion's den. But he's been there so many times before, been a great fighter over the years. Professional since 2001, 16 world title fights in all, of which he's won 13. He really does believe that he has another great fight within him. Welcomed into the ring by his promoter, Richard Schaefer, and Frank Warren also. 35 years old, now based in Las Vegas in the United States. He's looked supremely confident all week. And I wonder what he's really thinking now.
When they told me I couldn't, I did it, I do it every day, I'm definitely inspired on fire up early in the morning, I'm building a legacy. I walk the path that God created, I'm motivated, I won't settle for less than greatness every day, I'm training, I'm so determined.
And now let's welcome to the ring from right here, Belfast, Northern Ireland, Carl the Jackal Frampton.
Like the balls on the side in Belfast and ready to we've done everything this way. I'm sure the team is and enjoy everything. I know that I can still take it. I have a comfort all the time. I believe in the company.
Here he comes, and a wall of noise welcomes Carl Frampton. Says Nonito Donaire is the greatest fighter from overseas ever to visit Ireland. He says he's the biggest name on his professional career. Is Frampton going to be able to come away from this as the winner and move on to his dream fight in August at Windsor Park? He might have to produce one of the performances of his career if he's going to do that. If he fights as he did against Horacio Garcia back in November, it could be a very, very difficult night for him indeed. There's not a spare seat in the house. 9,000 people. Their eyes trained on the entrance to the dressing rooms, from which in just a moment or two, Carl Frampton will emerge. He says this crowd, Barry, give him that extra level. They give him a boost. He says this is a huge advantage for him.
Well, listen to him, John. Of course they do. How can you not be inspired by this sort of noise? You can see why they give that extra 10%. They give them when you're tired. They give that extra little bit of energy to throw that extra combination to get off the floor if it's needed to win a fight of this magnitude.
The fight of the weekend draws closer. Carl Frampton tonight at his 26th professional engagement, 31 years old, looking to scale the heights once more. The interim WBO Featherweight Championship of the world. Frampton says he's prepared with Jamie Moore better than he has before. He's got his nutrition right this time. He's made the weight comfortably, and now he says he is ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our feature bout. It is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the vacant WBO interim Featherweight Championship of the world. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions in association with Ringstar Sports, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red, Foot Asylum, and Radon Steel. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Steward in charge is John Williamson, along with the World Boxing Organization President Francisco Barcarcel. Supervisor is Dennis Gilmartin. Our three judges scoring on a 10-point must system will be Steve Gray of England, Zoltan Inyeti of Hungary, and Patrick Morley of the United States. Our referee in charge, third man in the ring, will be Marcus McDonald of England. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the time has arrived. Live from the SSE Arena here in Belfast, Northern Ireland, this is our main event of the evening. Introducing to you first fight tonight out of the red corner. He's wearing black with orange and weighing in at 8 stone, 13 pounds. Coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of General Santos City, Philippines, he brings a professional record of 38 wins, 4 defeats, with 24 of his 38 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the multiple-time former world champion in 4 different weight divisions, the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire. And his opponent across the ring in this main event, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He's wearing blue with white and gold, and weighing in the same as his opponent, 8 stone, 13 pounds. Hailing from right here, Belfast, Northern Ireland. His professional record consists of 24 wins, just 1 defeat, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former unified world super bantamweight champion and former WBA super world featherweight champion, Carl the Jackal Frampton.
A spine-tingling reception. Now Marcus McDonald with final advice.
What I expect, it's at all times, obey my instructions, watch your ears, keep it clean. Any questions? Let's go to work.
Carl Frampton wanted Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire said, I wanted Carl Frampton. He's looking to reinvent his career. Frampton looking to move towards his dream fight at Windsor Park. It could be spectacular. Donaire can bang. He's got the reach advantage. Frampton might have to produce an absolutely vintage performance.
I think it's important for Donaire as well to make Frampton feel his power early, just silence the crowd a little bit. And for Frampton, I think it's important that he be precise and sure with every punch, John. But Donaire, if you miss with Donaire, you make you pay with power.
Interesting shorts that Donaire's chosen to wear. You can see he stands taller, Donaire, although he's only about half an inch taller, but he looks a lot more.
Nice little short left hook there from Frampton. Donaire just a little bit wide with his hooks, and Frampton staying nice and low.
Frampton said earlier this week a lot's made of that much vaunted left hook of Donaire, but to just describe him as a man with a big left hook is a little bit disrespectful and sells him very much short. He says his right hand has won him so many of his big fights.
And that's the worry with Carl having his left hand low, and if he misses with the jab, and it's the right hand counter of Donaire, which is all the trouble with. He lets you throw that jab, you miss, and he got such long arms, makes you pay.
Donaire, who's been training with a great bantamweight of years gone by, Clarence Bones Adams, as well as Mike Basil, who's his chief cornerman, with him for a 21st time, Mike.
Nice little body shots here from Donaire.
Carl Frampton, he's been working for a second time with Jamie Moore. And he says this time preparations have been absolutely right.
Well, training with a new trainer is one thing when you get used to each other, but having him in your corner, that's important. He got that first fight out of the way.
Well, it's a respectful first few minutes. There's a decent body shot from Donaire. There's a real firecracker start from Frampton in his last contest against Garcia, and he maybe went off a little bit too quickly because he was blowing after the first 3 or 4 rounds.
This will be a little bit more measured because you don't want to make any mistakes. Good body shot there from Frampton from the left hook, but a good left hook back from Donaire.
Signs in the early stages of this fight, in this first round, that the styles of these two men could gel.
That's good for Frampton. Through the jab, he wasn't too sure he could follow up, so just use the feet to get out of trouble. Don't hold your feet. If you're not going to throw, you can't hold your feet in front of Donaire. That's for sure. But if you're constantly changing the angle.
So the first round just about over, and it's a tight first round. A lot of mutual respect.
Try and get lucky, yeah? Don't let him. Breathe, yeah, good again. Adrenaline up there. No legs on down. It's just a little nosebleed. Soft out, it's nothing soft up. Perfect, keep it like that. Be careful with them stabs downstairs. I'd rather you now, when you're out here.
Close first round, and Jamie Moore's been saying to Carl Frampton, don't let him get lucky, don't give him the chance.
Well, I say you can't hold your feet in front of Donaire. You've got to keep constantly moving around the target with him, because he will. You throw, you miss, and you hit, and he's going to throw back in combinations.
Close opening round.
Yeah, it could have gone anyway, John. I just like Carl's work just a little bit more. That's all. Nothing much in it.
Tight one. I'm sure that the Filipinos watching will think that Nonito Donaire won that opening round.
Good jab there from Frampton. Just catching Donaire coming forward.
Frampton, is he really more naturally the featherweight than Donaire is? And he's putting the power on here. And he's unloading, bit of headwork going in, and Marcus McDonald sees it and tells him.
Just a little welt underneath the left eye there of Donaire as well, and that was the right hand of Carl Frampton.
Not taking long for that to happen.
I say a little welt, it's getting worse for the second.
They're going to have to work in the corner on that. When he moves towards us, you'll see that is swelling up already.
Good
that left eye.
Good left hook from Carl Frampton as well in our little exchange.
Looks so focused, Carl Frampton.
Donaire got to feint with that front foot and then throw that right hand over the top. With Frampton with that left hand low, that's the shot to start the combinations off for Donaire.
Left eye damage is significant. Mike Basil will be the man who works away on that one.
It's good from Frampton. Well, what's good for Frampton is he's keeping his feet in front of Donaire, seeing that there's nothing going on, he's moving, he's not holding his feet too long without throwing any punches.
Well, the first round was a close one, but Frampton's been dominating this second. Donaire trying to walk him down in those extraordinary shorts.
The right hand there from Frampton. A short right hand. Got to be careful bringing that right foot forward though, for the left hook of Donaire.
He's trying to bring his punches up here, Donaire, when he gets in range. Oh, detonates, he's looking for the left uppercut. And all the time, the swelling around that left eye is worsening.
Good shot there from Frampton again. Just a little bit sharp but off the mark at the minute is Carl Frampton.
Stop boxing! Step away, Cole, step away. Hands up, go.
Frampton, we reckon, got caught by an uppercut in the exchanges in that second round, but Donaire goes back to the corner and he's the one with the facial damage. Barry indicating that is a round to Carl Frampton.
Oh, good right hand there from Frampton, but the danger punch from Donaire just missing by inches there, that uppercut.
Good round.
See, staying low is danger for the uppercut. Oh, good shot there from Donaire, that landed. That's not too bad.
The right hand jab after is right there.
Well, they've had the iron on it, and they've taken away some of the swelling as it was, but it's not perhaps as bad as we first feared. But he's blinking a little bit uncomfortably.
Yeah, that's fine, Alex. That's only because it's still pulsing probably right now. That's fine.
Third round underway.
That's better from Donaire, just a little more bounce in his step, get a bit of rhythm in his work, get that jab working. Oh, lovely there from Frampton. Just a little stutter step before he threw that right hand.
Looking very confident here, Carl Frampton.
Looking sharp, and that's what I said earlier, John, and precise with every punch. He knows he can't give Donaire any openings, and make any mistakes.
Jamie Moore was telling me he's done a lot of quality sparring with a guy they found over in Philadelphia, undefeated young prospect called Steve Fulton, and he's put in some really good work with him.
It's good from Donaire there. That's that lead right hand we're so familiar with.
Donaire being implored to use his jab. A bit more snap in the work of Frampton so far.
Yeah, he's just a little bit sharper, isn't he, out of the two? And that's good.
And again, the decibels raise.
Again, good there for Frampton. In and out with the feet. Landing the shots, getting out of trouble. Again, the reaction just a little bit slow there from Donaire with that right hand. He had the opportunity to land, it just took too long to throw it.
He was clipped by a left as well as they went away from that exchange. Good shot, good body shot, Frampton.
Boxing clever here, Carl. Not overplaying his hand. He's the sharper of the two, certainly at the minute. picking his punches, making sure he gets out the trouble there. Good distance there from him. Boxing well.
He was around 5-1 on with the bookies, Frampton.
That was the shot for Donaire, just landed with it. Frampton threw a lazy jab, but a good right hand back.
Dominated this round, Frampton. Donaire, though, has power in both sides.
I'm more impressed with Frampton's control, because he landed a couple of good shots there and he didn't go mad, didn't get hungry on his success. You know, he took his time. He got good shots. Stick to my plan, but he knows Donaire can be dangerous.
3 rounds over, and that was a good one for Carl Frampton.
One more round like that. See, starting to bust them up now. You're going to be more comfortable on front foot. But once I'm going to start, the last minute of this round now, you start to punch. Thank you, man. It's on the bridge of the moment.
30 seconds.
Nothing.
Keep your left hand up. Okay?
See the damage around the face there of Nonito Donaire, swelling around the left eye and a nick on the nose now. Good round that for Frampton.
Really good display. You know, he landed with some quality shots, control with his display. He's boxing very well at the minute.
Everything that he and coach Jamie Moore could have hoped for at this stage for Carl Frampton, and of course his legion of fans. Real snap about his work tonight so far. He looked good for the first 4 rounds, though, against Horacio Garcia. It was around about this stage that Frampton began to lose his way a bit in November.
Well, with that, listen, the pattern of the fight might change, John, but that'll be because of Donaire. I don't think Frampton will stay as sharp as he is, but Donaire's, you know, he's been a quality fighter, and he'll know how to turn it on and change the pattern of a fight. He's probably done it before. But Frampton, you know, again, he's quick off the mark than Donaire.
Well, Donaire's going to have to find something a lot more special than he's been able to produce just so far.
See, these little walk-arounds that Frampton's doing, all he's doing is just changing the angle ever so slightly, which means Donaire got to reset himself. Good shot. And again, lovely work from Frampton.
Straight shots are serving him well. He's beating Donaire to the punch.
Got to be careful of that left hook, though, when he's throwing combinations. Got to stay as low as he can, and he's got to turn out from a different angle when he's retreating.
Donaire only just off target with that fast right hand. The crowd very happy to be walking in a Frampton wonderland at the moment.
Far off with that right hand there, Donaire.
There'll be some twists and turns yet of that, I'm pretty much certain.
You can see they've studied that left hook, though, and see where Frampton, oh, good shot.
That chopping right hand was a big one. Donaire takes it well.
Good body shot as well there from Frampton.
Quality work from the Irishman. And another one into the side of the head of Donaire, who's under sustained pressure in this 4th round, trying to bring his punches up off the ropes.
See, Frampton's staying low, but he got his arms together, so he's blocking. He knows the uppercuts are going to come, so he got his gloves together. He's blocking most of those shots.
Showing physical strength there, pushing Donaire back. There you saw him keeping low there, Frampton, making Donaire miss and then punishing him with that 3-punch salvo.
Oh, nice little uppercut there, in close though from Donaire.
Good round again though for Carl Frampton, and it is all going to plan for the Irishman so far.
boxing fantastic. That round again, the pressure increased it. Second by second, he's looking very, very sharp.
Let's look again at some of the action from that round.
Okay, good accuracy there from Frampton. Donaire looking to dip low, and he just, Frampton saw it, caught him on top of the head, straight away with that right hand. This was good work in close, that not short little right hand, chopping right hand over the top. And smothering the work in Donaire, not allowing him to get any purchase in those uppercuts. It's a fantastic display so far from Frampton. Tactically very, very clever.
He looks physically strong tonight, Frampton.
But he's not getting carried away with his success.
So much noise in the crowd, you can barely hear what's going on in the corners. Jamie Moore, I'm sure, though, will be very pleased with what he's seen so far. Into the 5th.
But I think the discipline that Carl's showing, that Frampton is showing, I think that's important as well. I think he has to continue that a little bit longer as well before he really goes for it. But he's dominating at the minute. That's what Donaire needs, a little bit on the balls of his feet, get a bit of rhythm in his work.
His last defeat was in November 2016, Donaire. It's taken good men to beat him in the past. Had one early in his career, which was kind of when he was still in the learning curve, but then there's last 3, Guillermo Rigondeaux, Nicholas Walters, who was a terrific fighter, and Jesse Magdaleno. You know, those are good names.
Yeah.
Crowd believe that they're on their way to seeing a Frampton victory, though. Quite a start to this 5th round.
That's good. Good right hand, though. Because he can sort of do that, because he's the sharper of the two, as certainly so far, and he can take his time. Good. He's trying to turn Donaire as well while he's pushing him back. It's Carl Frampton.
Donaire not really getting too much success with his big hooks. That's another quality jab from Frampton.
But they're just a little bit wide, aren't they, the hooks?
When he's in close, you feel that Frampton physically is bossing this fight.
Yeah, he is. I just think that is the natural size difference. Even though Donaire looks big, he's coming up from the lower weights. Just doesn't have the same natural strength as Carl Frampton has.
That's a fast right uppercut, though, from Donaire. That's a danger shot.
Needs to come back with the left hook, though, Donaire, when he lands with a shot. Oh, good shot there, Phil, from Nonito Donaire.
Just a little movement to the right to give him space to let that left hand, the danger punch, go. Frampton's right in his face, but Donaire's having success. That's 2 brilliant uppercuts from Donaire. Best punches the Filipinos landed so far.
See, Frampton's been pushing him back, so when Donaire's been throwing the uppercuts, he's been having to lean back and not get the purchase on the punches he would like, but then he held his feet a little bit. Lovely little shots there from Donaire. Good jab, though, there, back from Frampton.
Donaire, finally, though, he's landed with a couple of punches which Frampton will have felt. And Frampton content to just give a little ground in the closing seconds of this round. Good right hand from Frampton, final scoring shot of the round.
That's it again. You all right?
Welcome back to the SSE Arena. Quality work from Donaire, working off the ropes. Look at that, good uppercut and another one, and Frampton felt those.
And there was 3 on a shot, wasn't it? 1 right uppercut, 2 left uppercuts, and that's sort of almost vintage today.
Second out, 9-6.
Maybe the clearest scoring shots of the round. But Barry, nevertheless, gives it to Carl Frampton.
I didn't think that was just one little pocket of success that he had. I think throughout the round, Frampton was doing the better work. But Donaire needed a little bit of success. Oops, Donaire sort of looked at the floor then. Lost concentration for a second.
Yeah, that was a look down. Now the action underway again. Nonito Donaire in his 43rd professional fight tonight. Stoppage ratio is very similar between the two of them. Mid-50s in percentage terms.
But you think that Donaire is the hardest single punch?
That's a good punch from Frampton. Donaire takes it well, though.
Oh, good shot. And the footwork there from Frampton. I think what Donaire's finding out is that single punches are not going to be enough. He needs to start putting them together in combinations, which he's more than capable of doing.
He's going to have to start putting some rounds together, though, Nonito Donaire, or this fight. It's nearing the halfway stage, and, well, the first round was close. That last one, he had his moments of success, but was it enough to have taken the rounds? And that's a best-case scenario for him.
I think so.
Trying to narrow the gap, trying to work away to get an opening, but Frampton is not providing them, showing good mobility and oh, that's a good jab though from Donaire.
Fantastic. That was Frampton just too concerned with mounting an attack and not thinking about anything coming back. Got to be careful jumping in like that, Frampton. You can see Donaire trying to do that lean back left hook.
Frampton's looking for the big right hand, and he's looking to target that damaged left eye.
Big shot, body shot there from Donaire.
Still dangerous, Nonito Donaire. No knockdown. Marcus McDonald giving Nonito a little bit of time just to compose himself. And so we reach the halfway stage. Starting to get a bit worried in that Donaire corner. Wife Rachel, interestingly, among those giving advice in that corner.
Oh, good shot there from Frampton. Lovely punch.
Seconds out. Right 7.
So into the second half of the fight, and Barry's scored every round so far to Carl Frampton.
I think he's boxed well, John. I think he's been controlled.
First and the fifth were close.
Yeah, the first could have gone either way. Maybe an even round could have won much in. I just like a few punches Frampton landed with.
How much belief does Donaire still have?
When you can punch, you always have belief you can put a fight out of the bag. I'm pretty sure of that.
expected to be under pressure in the early stages, Donaire, but I'm sure he didn't expect to be surrendering as many rounds as he maybe has.
I think I've been impressed with Carl not getting over-eager, not trying too hard to get the knockout or the stoppage, where he's been throwing his punches and then having success and just taking a little walk away.
Oh, he's turned away there. He's turned away, Donaire. Now, what was that about?
He got something on the top, just above his eye on the forehead, and whether they clashed heads. When they got close there, I didn't see it. Oh, good uppercut there from Donaire.
Just for a moment, I thought he was going to turn his back on it. Face all the time is marking up more and more Nonito Donaire as he ships more and more punishment. Good left hand from Frampton.
Lovely little hook come uppercut there from Frampton.
Frampton going to work at the head again. Donaire trying to bring those uppercuts in as he fights off the ropes. Landed with oh, that's a good uppercut from Donaire. And another one. And Frampton's in trouble. He was in trouble momentarily with that uppercut. And Donaire, is he turning it around? That is the most anxious moment of the fight so far for Frampton, but he comes firing back himself.
Good 1-2 there, though, from Frampton as a response.
Tremendous uppercuts from Donaire.
Oh, that wobbled Frampton, that they really wobbled him.
Most anxious moments so far for Carl Frampton. This will test his fitness and his preparations.
To his credit, he's gone back to work. And straight back to work.
Donaire not feeling that he had him going enough to really launch an all-out assault. But an interesting round. Donaire take that one?
No, John, not for me. I think all the better work came from Frampton. I think that was the one shot from Donaire, which was the best shot maybe of the fight. But I think all the work, all the good work came from Carl Frampton. One shot doesn't make enough.
He's in a bad way. He's cut over the right eye now as well. Punches, I think, did the damage. I'm not sure it was a clash of heads. Let's have a look. Is that where it was?
That looked like a clash of heads.
Maybe it was. Yeah, but yeah. That's where he turned away and dabbed uncomfortably at the injury.
But only the referee can sort of do that for you, you know. So he's going to see this lovely uppercut here from Donaire. Oh, right on the button.
Not happy. He says it was the heads that did it. No deliberate intent from Carl Frampton.
Seconds out. I'm it.
Into the 8th round. Frampton way ahead on points, but an anxious moment in that last round.
Yes, well, no, it's competitive. Every round's competitive, but I just think he's doing enough. And I think the first and the fifth you could have given to Donaire, and that would be fair enough. But I think every other round, I think, it'd been Frampton quite comfortable, to be honest.
Signs of the power of Donaire in that last round, but that's how Barry's got it. Frampton by shutout so far.
And it makes it sound like he's just schooling Donaire, and he's not. But he's boxing. I think Frampton's boxing very well. But the last few rounds have been signs Donaire, you know, in the last. Oh, lovely 1-2 there from Frampton.
There was a feeling that if Frampton was going to win this one, it would be maybe on points. If he goes to stop it, odds of around 5-2 were being quoted on us, a knockout or a TKO in Frampton's favour. Of course, Donaire, big outsider, 9-2 against. Good work.
Sorry, I know Frampton's trying to crowd him and push him back, but he's better off being here because I think he's sharper of the two off the mark. He's having more success from range. Donaire's a little bit slower than he used to be, and he stays away from those uppercuts. Most importantly,
Frampton leaping in again there.
Donaire needs to feint a little bit with his feet. He needs to draw the lead of Frampton. And then get that lean back left hook he throws, or that overhand right counter that's been so effective for him in the past.
Donaire trying to find that right hand after Frampton had thrown his left. He does tend to keep that left hand low, Frampton, as you see.
But again, he's been using the footwork right in and out. I think it's been, so far, unless Donaire has a fantastic finish to this round, it's been not a comfortable round for Frampton, but a round that I think he's a clear winner so far.
He's boxed well tonight. Donaire wanted to roll back the years and find another great performance. One which would have been somewhere from his vintage, which was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So far, he's not been able to find it.
Just glimpses every now and again that he might just have a little bit left of that spark.
Touch of gloves, Frampton increases his hold seemingly on this match.
I think he boxed extremely well so far.
Let's start getting more twitching now. Yeah. Start on your feet more, throwing in more feints, dropping your coat down.
Rory McIlroy happy with how his friend's progressing.
Posting now, yeah? So let's make yourself work, but not taking too many risks. Yeah. You've got to find that balance, yeah? Very, very good.
Moving to your left and trying to shoot the right hand. Just take that little step. When he leaves his left hand out, he's doing.
Oh, well, he's looking for that right hand. He's been told to go looking for it when he leaves that left hand low. But he's been looking for it for 8 rounds and he hasn't found it. It's Frampton's fight to lose now, this.
He needs just a bigger feint with the front foot than he did Donaire. That's what he needs to draw the lead of Frampton, and then he gets that right hand in. And I think the advice in the corner for Frampton was spot on. You know, trying to increase the work rate a little bit without taking any silly risks. I think the discipline that's been good tonight for Frampton, and that's been the key so far to why he's ahead. And he is ahead. He might not be every round like I have it, but he's lost 2 rounds at most.
Donaire's shown a good chin. He's not looked as though he's been particularly wobbled at any stage, but he's taken a lot of punishment, particularly to the head.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's always dangerous. As we've seen with the single shots, he's always dangerous. You always have to be mentally switched on. And as sharp as you can possibly be. And that's why you have to, the fitter you are, the mentally sharper you are, and the more you can keep that plan and that discipline in motion.
May the 19th is the IBF title fight. Lee Selby defending against Josh Warrington. And Selby's already indicated this week that he is ready to come to Ireland to fight Carl Frampton. He'd be only too happy to take that fight.
Well, he'd have no choice really if he wanted to fight him. He'd have to come to Ireland. That's good, well, good work. He did well to back away as well. He was getting close again, landed with a few good shots, but he's only going to walk onto an uppercut staying too close. This is the range for Frampton, right here. And Donaire got to quicken that feet up. Those feet up, I should say.
Donaire's going to have to gamble. Getting to the stage of the fight now where he must surely know he's a mile behind on points.
Well, he got a longer reach. If he doubles up the jab and quickens the feet up, then he can get that longer right hand on target.
Fast body shots from Frampton. As Frampton maybe thinking he's done enough and just box your way now to victory. Why gamble to try and finish the man?
Be careful there, heads clashing close. He's done enough in this round again. He's put the pressure on Donaire. He's outboxed him down with the better punches. And nothing's been massively stand out, but he's done enough to win. So you take a bit of a rest.
It's another round for Frampton for me, that one.
Winning everything, John, for me. I think, you know, even those couple of close rounds, I think he just edged there.
It's been the hottest ticket in town for a long time. The crowd getting what they hope to see.
That's good there, putting the punches together effectively there, Frampton. Nice little good rhythm to his work. Just got to be careful when he's doing that coming forward. That's the danger for him, and allows Donaire to throw those uppercuts and hopefully land.
You call it on the inside.
Yeah.
Breathe. Donaire up off his stool very early, ready to go.
Seconds out, round 10.
Getting around to now or never time for the Filipino. Carl Frampton has outboxed him, and he's looked the stronger man.
Yeah, he has. But Donaire still looks the man with more one-punch power. So I like keep saying, he wants to stay this distance for Frampton.
So Barry sees it. Frampton by a long way. Perfect card in score terms for Frampton, if the judges see it the same. One American judge, one Hungarian judge, and one British judge.
You see, he just lost a bit of pace, doesn't he, Donaire? A little bit in his legs, and he just can't get the Frampton quick enough. Oh, good shot.
Frampton's getting in and out, and he's just not there for the counters to be thrown.
But Donaire, you think Donaire a few years back would have been able to chase him down when he moved back?
Well, maybe
jumping in on the tag or the target quicker, but he just can't do it. So he needs Carl Frampton to come on to him.
And Frampton will be, I think, too cute, too shrewd, and too long in the tooth to allow himself to be suckered in at this stage.
Yeah, and he's still, Frampton's sort of relatively fresh as well, which is a worry for Donaire, because the chances are he was hoping that Carl Frampton would be tired right now, and he could maybe capitalise on a few mistakes he's going to make.
Donaire trying to walk him down for the opportunity to land the big left hand. Frampton having none of it, staying fleet-footed.
Yeah, you just want to be careful not to run around too much, and before you know, Donaire walks you down, your back's on the ropes, and then you're maybe in trouble.
That's that left hand whistled through thin air.
You can see the power on the canyon, the speed of the shot, and he lets it go, puts everything in it. Donaire.
Could signal the end of a long and distinguished career if Donaire loses tonight.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, hasn't he? Throughout his career, really has.
First won that world title, IBF flyweight world title, way back in 2007. And another clear round for Frampton. I think Donaire, to an extent, looks as though he's run out of ideas, and he's hoping that Frampton makes some sort of mistake and just gets lazy.
You just haven't got the legs anymore, have you, for the energy to, you know, to get that bounce in his step, to be pushing pressure on Carl, to let his punches go with, you know, with all that tenacity. He just hasn't got it anymore. Maybe just a long career. And Carl Frampton's been very sharp and disciplined as well. And it hasn't been comfortable for Carl Frampton, but he's been, for me, everything.
He's made Donaire look a little bit shop-worn tonight. 2 rounds to go.
John, when you have the punching power of Donaire,
it's always the chance.
Yeah, that never leaves you. So I think, again, I said it earlier on, but the discipline and the control for Frampton in these last 2 rounds may be more important than any time of the fight. Because even if you did give Donaire a couple of rounds, he's still a mile behind. So you don't want to give away anything now for Frampton. Just be very, very cautious.
And the only way he wins is to stop him. And there was just those moments on the ropes a few rounds back. Was it in the 7th where he brought those uppercuts in?
He heard him, you could see it. But then to Frampton's credit, he just carried on punching, tried to work through it.
And which he did.
And for me, still won the round.
It tested his conditioning, powers of recovery, and he showed that they were good. Pushing down from Donaire. Frampton, I think, guilty of ducking low, which the referee pulled him up on as well. Not allowed to go below waist height.
This is the double jab for Donaire. He hasn't been using it enough, but you just saw that he can land with it because he's got the longer reach. And a good rhythm to his work as well when he lets his hands go. So I just confused why he hadn't done that like a few rounds ago, earlier.
Decent body shot from the Filipino. Frampton, you sense, is convinced that he's done enough now, and he's just trying to box his way through.
Nice jab there from Frampton. Oh, good right hand as well, and a little spin off the front foot.
Goes down as a good performance for Frampton.
Yeah, it does. Listen, 3 years earlier, this would have been a better fight for Donaire, for sure, and for Frampton maybe, but he still beat a guy who can still be dangerous, a Hall of Famer.
No knockdown. Pushed over by Frampton. El Toro style. And he's being... Oh, I thought for a moment he was going to take a point off him, but he certainly made his point. Oh, caught by a right hand, and a body shot coming in as well from Donaire.
Oh, good left hook as well.
This is better from Donaire. And he's going looking for him, closing seconds of the 11th. At last he finds the target. Oh. Another big left hand from Donaire. Frampton again takes the power of Nonito Donaire. Crowd just a little bit hushed in those last few seconds of round 11. Donaire still shows that he has power.
You know this. You play your fucking game, not his game. That's right.
Sorry about the language from Mrs. Donaire. She is a feisty lady.
Look, it started with a lovely right hook to the body from Donaire, and then that lovely left hook as well to follow. Look at that, good shot. And then he kept throwing those shots in Donaire. That was a good, I think he finished the round strong, and that was the first round I've given him.
Well, he's going to have to do more of the same. Here's Jamie Moore.
Timing and distance. Yeah? Foot pushing into the front now. He's in the middle right. Foot pushing back into the front now. Yeah? Nice, sharp that sound. Eyes wide open. Feet and feet active.
So just 1 round to go. And the crowd rise to appreciate their hero. The 2 touch gloves. I tell you what, it's been fought and indeed built up in the most gentlemanly of manners between two fine fighters, but it looks very much, despite those rocky moments in the 11th, as though Carl Frampton, he's going to win this one, but Donaire will go for broke here.
He's not out of the woods yet, John, even though he's winning everything. And he can only really give Donaire 3 rounds at best, for me. Oh, but like we said, he's always dangerous because he got that power.
Right uppercut and a left hook from Donaire, found the target there.
That uppercut, and he's got the bit between his teeth now, hasn't he, Donaire?
Still fancying it. Time is running out, though. Frampton just become a little bit more vulnerable in the latter stages of this contest.
Be careful moving around. Donaire can jump in with that left hook. Good right hand though for Frampton.
Bounces off Donaire though, didn't it? He's not hurt by that. There's another left hand from Donaire. He's trying to walk Frampton down, get him into range for big shots.
Good right hand as well there, just around the ear there from Donaire. Goes in the range, John.
Frampton, you heard Jamie Moore say, keep the distance, but make sure you keep working.
Looking tired now, isn't he, Frampton?
He is, and Donaire is winning this last round so far. But he needs more than just to take the round. He needs to put Frampton down. He needs to stop him.
Just a little bit short with that right hand there, Frampton.
Coming up towards the last 30 seconds. Frampton is just that time away now from victory, surely.
Tired now as well, Frampton's looking to survive. He's done enough, got enough rounds in the bank to win the fight. He's got to make sure he doesn't leave his chin hanging out.
His corner and his promoter, Frank Warren, imploring him to let his shots go, and here he comes. Here's the grandstand finish from Frampton. Big attack from Frampton, and there goes the final bell, and the two embrace. Another tremendous display of sportsmanship, but surely there can be no doubt Frampton has produced another tremendous performance and another victory.
I thought he was tremendous after the lackluster, I guess, performance it was called in his last fight tonight. He was sharp, accurate, disciplined, did everything right. Yeah, the crowd knows the winner. And Donaire rallied a little bit late, but I think there's 4 rounds of best you can give Donaire tonight. I think Donaire's just lost a little bit of pace, and it showed against a sharper Carl Frampton tonight, who I thought was one of his best displays here, Carl Frampton. And now that Windsor Park fight looks like it's going to happen for him, John.
Some of the words a little bit over-emphatic from Carl Frampton. Apologise if you're offended by those, but you can kind of appreciate in the drama of the moment at the end of a grueling fight a sense of justifiable relief for Carl Frampton. Donaire with his promoter Richard Schaefer, and maybe at the age of 35, after so many great nights, he might say enough now is enough.
He's had a Hall of Fame career, and if this is his last fight, he's lost to a really good fighter, so there's no shame, and he's been a pleasure to watch. And he showed glimpses of the old Donaire, but he just couldn't sustain it. And I think he was well beaten tonight.
He only came on strong, really, in the closing stages when Frampton, perhaps aware that the work had been done, went into, if not survival mode, he was certainly coasting a little bit for the last 2-3 rounds, but it was by then the work had been done. So we can go into the ring now, because Thomas Schreiber has the judges' deliberations, and we can find out now what the scorecards are.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all 3 judges, Steve Gray, Zoltan Inyeti, and Patrick Morley, score it the same, 117 to 111, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And now the WBO interim featherweight champion of the world, from right here, Belfast, Northern Ireland, Carl Frampton.
By a 6-point margin on all 3 cards, Carl Frampton the winner. Belfast celebrates. Nonito Donaire, dangerous, yes, but ultimately very well beaten by the Belfast hero. The WBO belt is around his waist, and he can move on now because Windsor Park beckons.
How about a big round of applause for the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire.
Carl Frampton, congratulations. You are now the interim WBO Featherweight Champion of the world. In the lead up to this contest against the former 4-weight world champ, you promised a performance that would be remembered for decades to come. You've delivered a masterclass tonight. What are your thoughts and feelings on the performance you've just produced?
I knew I didn't want to, I didn't have to get involved in a fight there. As you've seen in the 11th round, Nonito Donaire is a dangerous motherfucker from start to finish. Sorry. But look, I survived the round. I stuck to a game plan. I think at times my boxing was beautiful. Only one thing on my mind at the minute, Windsor Park, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get there.
That's all in the future. Let's reflect a little more on tonight, because as you say, he had some success in the 11th round. He appeared to have some success in round number 7 as well. How badly shaken up, if at all, how hurtful were his punches when he caught you on the ropes with those uppercuts?
He was a sharp puncher throughout, and the 11th round, I was definitely hurt. You'll admit it. People could see it. I'm not going to deny it. I was hurt, but I survived it, and that's what champions do. They survive. And Nonito Donaire, I'd just like to say what a nice man, and his team and everyone around him, good people. And can I say one thing as well? My wife Christine and her family, they've had a pretty rough time recently. We have a few deaths in the family, and the anniversary of her father the other day as well. I wanted to come out to a song, Something Inside So Strong, and some idiot played the wrong tune. So, listen, I won the fight, Windsor Park, let's do it.
Most certainly the display that you produced, it was composed, it was cool, you controlled things both from distance, you appeared physically stronger on the inside. How important was the game plan that you put together with Jamie Moore, and how pleased are you that you were able to stay disciplined and implement it so effectively?
I think Jamie deserves a lot of credit. The game plan was perfect, and we stuck to certain shots throughout the whole camp. And when I was on the outside, I was using my jab to the head and body, which is what we were doing in the gym. When it got close, I needed to be really close and use my strength, which I'd done. I wasn't really in the middle distance too much, and when I was in the middle distance, I got caught. But look, I was fighting a world-class puncher, a world-class fighter, and I was a world-class gentleman. And look, I credit to Jamie for coming up with such a game plan.
Carl, stick with us. We will speak to you more about the future in a moment. Jamie, if you could come in and have a word. Your second camp with Carl Frampton, the first fight you had just 7 weeks together, and you said in the lead up to this one, you learned far more about one another. What was it that you learned, and how were you able to implement it tonight to produce the performance that Carl executed so well?
I just think that a fighter like Carl, or any fighter for that matter, they have certain habits, certain ways they move. I learned a lot more about him in this camp. Mentally, physically, all round. But, you know, for him to be able to carry that game plan out, it takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of patience, focus, and he carried it out to a T. I've got to say, you know, Nonito Donaire is a legendary fighter. He's maybe a little bit past his best, but nevertheless, he's very, very dangerous, and he couldn't afford to take any risks. He took a little one towards the end there, last 30 seconds. You know, I'm sure the fans would have loved the fight to be like that all the way through, but no risk. We head to Windsor Park.
Indeed. Jamie, congratulations on coming up with that game plan. Frank, you're the man that can make Windsor Park happen. You've heard what Carl Frampton wants to do. How likely is Windsor Park? Who's it likely to be next? You've got the IBF title taking place at Ellen Road. Lee Selby, Josh Warrington. Is that going to be, the winner of that contest, going to be next for Carl at Windsor Park in the summer?
Well, first of all, do the fans want Windsor Park? Well, we're going to do Windsor Park. That's where we're going. We're going to be in Windsor Park in August. We're going to be there, and obviously all the bits will fall into place regarding who the opponent is over the next month or so. But Windsor Park is the next one. We promised it to Carl. We deliver.
Carl, how excited are you about the prospect of fighting outside Windsor Park this summer?
Everyone knows how excited I am. I can't wait for it, and there's not a man on this planet at featherweight that's going to beat me at Windsor Park. But I want to say one thing. Apparently there was another show somewhere else tonight. Tommy Coyle done the business. Well done, Tommy, and I'll see you next week.
Congratulations, Carl. Congratulations to all of Team Frampton on delivering a terrific win and winning that interim WBO title tonight. We look forward to seeing you at Windsor Park in the summer.